So at that point, I was at the lowest of the lows. And they helped me. My friends helped me cut off this relationship with this guy. And I was just so desperate to be okay again. One of my friends that helped me mentioned that there was a ministry at our church called Freedom in Christ. She had never taken it, but she had just heard a lot of really good stuff about it. And I was just like, okay, I will literally do anything. I have no idea what this is about. I don't even think it's going to work, but I'll do it. And so I start the class, and the first few weeks were just, okay, I've kind of heard a lot of this stuff at church. And then we start getting deeper. And I was like, I've claimed to believe in Jesus my whole life, but I've never seen this kind of Jesus. You know, like I've just misunderstood everything. And the very first time the steps appointment was actually brought up, it was so vague. I had no idea really what it was, but the testimonies I'd heard about it, I texted my leader immediately and I was like, I need to do this right now. The week before I started the class, I had actually gotten a tattoo on my leg to cover a lot of my scars from what had happened prior to that. And I was like, I just don't want to live like this anymore. Like, I'm just so ashamed and so depressed. Like, I don't think, like, what could God do with me? And so I did the steps appointment, and I walked in and I was crying before we even started. But there's a prayer at the very beginning for people that aren't saved, if you want to like accept salvation and just accept Jesus. And I told them, it's like, I've been baptized. I've said the prayer, but this just feels different. And they're like, well, go ahead and pray it. And to this day, that's the moment that I accepted Jesus. And the way that he just met me where I was in that moment, and it was hard. But the biggest thing I took away was after all of the sexual sin stuff, my prayer partner looked at me and she said, you are pure and you don't have to be ashamed because you are covered. God has made you new and you are pure. And I'll never forget that. And I walked out of there lighter than I've ever felt in my whole life. On my way home after the steps appointment, this song came on in my car called The Story I'll Tell by Naomi Rain. And it talks about how my God did not fail. And towards the end, she says, even when I didn't want it, he kept me. And I was just able to look back at so many points in my life where I was like, just crying out to God, like, where are you? In so many moments that I just didn't want God, and I just wanted to do what I wanted to do, and yet he still protected me. I should have had so many more consequences than I did. I should have gotten pregnant. I should be addicted to cocaine right now because there were all of the signs of early addiction. I shouldn't be alive because I didn't want to be. And he was there through it all. Even if I didn't see it at the time, I can look back and see that he didn't fail me at all. And now, just understanding what it means to be a child of God, and that shame is not from him. And that I don't ever have to be ashamed again. and that I am enough. It's changed my